Paw Partner Dog Training. I'm Dana, obviously, most of you know me. I just want to talk today a little bit about taking your dog in public. I had an experience yesterday. I was at Sierra, which is a dog friendly store, with Sway, my 1 year old poodle, and a gentleman came over to me and commented how well behaved my dog was. And that was not a shock to me. I just thanked him and, he was just so pleased and he said he doesn't see that very often. So, however, I did tell him, she's been going with me to dog friendly places since she was about 16 weeks old. That's honestly because I got her at 11 weeks or 12 and, I gave her some time to acclimate and then we kind of got out and about right away. So she's been doing this for a really long time. It's not news to her. Also to note, in that moment, I had told her to sit and wait. So while I was looking at some treats on the aisle, and I'm pretty consistently giving my dog cues when we're out and about. Because if you don't, they can kind of just do whatever. And I have a teenage dog who does that. So, a lot of the time we take our dogs out in public and we expect them to just quite simply be okay with things, because it doesn't seem scary to us. The reality is when you take your dog out in public, there's a lot of things out in public they haven't seen before. Sounds. The gentleman that came over yesterday was actually in a wheelchair. And that did make my dog a little bit nervous. She's not really seen those before. And so whenever your dog is going to do something that maybe is not, is going to be exposed to something that isn't, sorry, my dogs are barking. Yes. Making your treat. Come here. So, by the way, that's a good interruption because I'm at my desk and my patio door is open and my dogs are barking at something outside, right? And most of you just heard a bell ringing. And it's because I have a bell sitting next to my computer. And whenever I ring the bell, they know, kind of like Pavlov and the dog, right? They know to come find me and they'll get a treat. So they're both now sitting here staring at me instead of barking outside. And should they decide to leave again, I'm going to be okay with that. I don't mind them sitting out there on the patio and watching everybody that goes by. I don't want them to bark. So if they do go bark, and they may go running back out there here in a moment. And if they do that, I'll ring the bell and they'll come back. So, and typically the second time I ring the bell, they're just over it and the people have passed. And so, they're done. But anyway, it's a really good example of what do you want your dog to do instead? So sometimes we go, I don't want my dog to bark at strangers. Okay, well, what do you want them to do instead? In my case, I actually want them to come to me because I don't want to have to get up and leave my desk to go get them. So I want them to come find me. And when they do that, I reward that behavior. So, and this literally, it's the dog bell that we use for tricks class. So, and I use that because it's really loud. But and it has to disrupt them from their barking fit that they're in. Anyway, so let's get back on the subject of, it's a good detour though, of taking your dog in public. So, when she saw the wheelchair, she was a little nervous. And I was rewarding her and saying yes or clicking the entire time. And, letting her know that rewarding the behaviors that she was doing that I liked. So, and she was sitting there being calm instead of being nervous and hiding behind me. So she was getting rewarded. And as the guy went to drive his wheelchair away, she kind of followed to sniff it, and I rewarded that too. Um, because I want her to feel okay and confident in checking out new things. Now, I'm not going to let her go check out his wheelchair. But I like that she kind of investigated it and was curious. And because she hasn't seen one before, I'll probably take her into a pet-friendly store. The one I know the best is Hobby Lobby. They have actually a wheelchair right there in the front. And I may walk her and push that around and reward her while we're walking. So to get her used to that. But that's a good example of expecting our dogs to be used to things that we think are normal, but they maybe haven't seen, or honestly, they really are scary. Skateboards, loud sounds, people in trench coats, people in hats. I mean, I could go on a long list of things that are scary. The sounds, one of the things that I do in Hounds Around Town class, if you've not taken it, and you can try this when you're out and about. You don't need to have your dog with you to try it. Go into any store, and if you feel like you're going to look like an idiot, just find a quiet place to do this. Take 30 seconds, or even 10 if that's all you can handle, and close your eyes, and I want you to listen and smell. And by taking away one of those senses, all of your other senses are heightened. And dog's sense of smell and hearing is far better than ours. So it can help you to hone in on some things that you maybe wouldn't have noticed are there. And then what we do typically at the end of that exercise is I will ask, tell me something you heard or smelled that you cannot see. So if you go into a store and you hear the Muzak music and it's playing really, really loud, or you hear, or maybe it's not playing really loud, but it's playing. Sometimes there's birds in the rafters. There's a forklift in the distance, or a baby screaming, and maybe your dog's never heard that before. Not all dogs have. Or the sound of squeaky carts, right? Beep, beep, beep of checkouts. How many people's dogs freak out over fire alarms? That beep sound is pretty similar, just not quite as loud. So, and then smell. Sometimes we smell, plastics or perfumes or scents. Those things are very overwhelming for your dog. Dogs that are stressed make decisions and choices that we don't necessarily like. They may bark, they may cower, they may growl, they may react, they may try to pull out of their leash, they may try to pull forward to get away from everything. They may try to pull you out the door to get out of the store. They start not doing the things that you know that they can do at home, right? And so don't be frustrated with that. Just take that into account of what that is, right? It's just an overwhelmed dog. So how do we mitigate that? You're going to start in small doses, right? So with Sway, I did not, I'm just like everybody else. I wanted to take my dog out with me everywhere, to all the cool places and the venues and the outdoor events. But I know, that's going to make a dog shut down, and it's going to make them never want to go there again. So, and it's really hard to fix fear. It takes a lot longer I hate the word fix. It takes a lot longer to mitigate and train and build confidence in a fearful dog than it is to build confidence in a dog that is just learning about the world. So try not to scare your dog. Anyway, so we started very, very small, and we started doing, I would go sit in the store in Lowe's in the spring area where all the chairs are, kind of in the back and not on the front aisle, but far in the back. And we would sit there for about 5 minutes, and I wouldn't wait until we got to the point where she just couldn't take anymore. We would sit there for 5 minutes. I would be rewarding her about every 2 to 3 seconds. Intermittently, and sometimes the reward was a pet, sometimes it was treats, and I brought her some really good treats that she really liked, and she only got those when we went out and about. And after about 5 minutes, I set an alarm on my phone. We would leave, and we would come back home, and we would just carry on our day. And we would increase that from 5 minutes to 10 minutes, and then 15 and then 30 over a period of weeks. And some people, I don't want to spend just 5 minutes training my dog out and about if I'm going to drive all the way to the store. Sometimes that's all they can take. Okay. And that is going to build you a better dog. So, keep an eye on them and, know that you want to leave before they're done, right? You want to leave when they're still with you and they're still checked in, they're still engaged, and that you can call it good then. One of the things that we say, and my trainer tells me all the time, is that when in your head you say, let's do just one more, quit right then. So if you think we can do just 5 more minutes, no, you're done. Leave it on a good. So, everybody wants to run before they learn to crawl or even move their legs. So start very small and have big rewards for being very small. When we went out in public, my rewards were things like chicken or string cheese, or she really likes little cheddar bites. So I do some of that. And, at home it was really training treats and things like that. But out and about, she gets things a little different. Now, if you think, well, my dog's older and it's not a puppy, and where do I start from there? Or you got to rescue. It's very similar. Just know that your dog has a past, right? So they may have some trauma. They may have been forced to do something at some point in time. So now you're going to work through that. Anytime a dog is forced to do something that they don't want to do, that creates a little bit of trauma. It's no different than with you. If I come drag you into a venue that you don't want to go to, you're going to have a little trauma there. The difference is I can tell you why. For your dog, they don't understand what's happening to them. So, your increments and you just be in baby steps, right? So, I have a rescue dog. I got him when he was 7. I do know his past, actually. Someone got with me about his past, and he had actually never been out and about. So, he is excellent out and about now. He's traveled all over. I mean, he's gone into places that just, I couldn't believe that he could function there. So, but he loves it. He loves people. He loves to be out. He gets mad when I don't take him. So, but a lot of that is done because it was done in increments, right? And sometimes those increments are very simple. A training class. I take my dog to do a lot of different things, and it's not necessarily because it's something that I'm interested in doing per se. More so that, for example, I'm not really big into fabrics and sewing, but I go to Joann's and we wander around because it's a very quiet store. And it's really good for my dog to just be in a quiet store. We don't work on a lot. We work on her paying attention to me and sit, and that's about it. So I'm not going to ask my dog for a lot when I'm out in public all the time. Sometimes I do. It depends. I like to change it up. But outdoor venues where I know that it's dog friendly, I probably take my dog, but you'll see me on the outskirts. I don't force my dog to be on the inside of that. So for example, if you're going to take your dog to the farmer's market, I am not going to walk down the middle with all the crazy people and their poorly behaved dogs that are there. We will mitigate the outside until I can watch my dog and see what I can get from her and watch her body language. Is she a little slinky? Is she a little hunchy? Is she nervous? Is there any shaking? Is she engaged? Things like that. And then we may move in a little closer the next time we go down. I took her up to Oktoberfest last year. I'm not big into that type of stuff, but it was a great opportunity for my dog to get out. We didn't go in a lot. We sat out on the grass and just watched all the people and listened from afar to all the loud music. And, she got some treats and some pets from strangers, and that was sufficient. So, and that type of stuff builds a really good dog. And if your dog is barking and lunging or growling or cowering out or kind of tapping out, think about what you can do to reduce the stimuli in their environment. And do you need to take a step back? And taking a step back is not going out. Taking a step back is going somewhere that's maybe a little less scary and increasing your reward value, right? So everybody's got a price. So what's your favorite thing? If it's a toy, it's a toy. If it's food, it's food. If it's pets, it's pets. My older dog, Oliver, he will work for butt scratches for pretty much everything. So, it just really depends. So I might go take it back and go to the at-home store, which is really pretty quiet, and increase my reward value to beef bites or some string cheese or something like that, rather than training treats. I really got to reward my dog for the try. And when you're out, reward all the things that you like. It's very, very easy for us to look at the behaviors we don't like. That's what we do as humans. What I need you to think about is rewarding the behaviors that you like. And your dog is going to give you a lot of opportunities to reward a behavior. Sitting quietly, laying down, looking at you, not barking, just standing there, period. Just standing there quietly. Guess what? Click treat. Because they could be doing a lot of other things. They could be pulling or sniffing or grabbing something off the shelf or barking at someone. No, they're standing there being quiet. Click treat or yes treat. So remember to reward all the things that you like. If you reward all the things that you like and take your outings in baby steps, you will have a dog that people can come over and say, your dog is so well behaved. Okay. And also repetition, right? So get out there. Get out there a lot. And I tell you, I haven't really taken Sway to big crowded events yet. Like the farmer's market, we'll do it this year. We'll see how it goes. But she can be just about any store at this point. I'm pretty confident. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what she gives me. Dogs change a lot, right? From that 0 to 6 months, you have one dog, and 6 months to 2 years old, 2.5 years old, you have a teenager who forgot everything. And then you get to the 2.5 to 3, and on, and you've got an adult dog, and they're pretty settled in who they are. So, and then if you find your dog is nervous, a good way around that too is to move. Just start moving. Exercise causes endorphins. So I always tell people, if you've ever seen Legally Blonde, and she says, exercise causes endorphins, and endorphins make you happy, and happy people don't kill their husbands. So exercise causes endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy dogs don't growl, bite, lunge, and bark, right? They may bark, but out of happiness. So a lot of the times I'm like, let's just move. Let's move. And moving, by the way, walking with you is something to do. So it's giving your dog something to do. Just standing around lingering, dogs have a hard time with that sometimes. So if you see them start to do some behaviors you don't like, move. You're not a tree. If you've got tricks that you know, start busting those out. Let's make our dogs do something, right? Cause them to have reasons to get a reward. Anyway, that's enough from me. That's longer than I wanted it to be, but I felt like I really wanted to give some advice and suggestions as the weather gets nicer, and a lot of people are getting their dogs out and have a lot of questions and concerns. So that's just a little piece of what we'll do in Hounds Around Town, by the way, if you want to join me in that class. So enjoy, get your dogs out there. Have a good day.